So you're thinking about buying a Genesis G70. Well, in this video, I'm here to offer up some tips, suggestions, and just share my own personal thoughts and opinions, having owned this car for 6 months. So without further ado, let's hop into the first area of discussion. First and foremost, I wanted to tell you guys, do not buy this car brand new. Just don't do it and hear me out. The reason I suggest not buying this car brand new is due to how much it depreciates in less than a year. And let me give you guys an example to put this into perspective. So my G70 you're looking at here, it's a 23-year model Sport Prestige package with a V6 motor, the most expensive fully loaded version of this car you can get. Brand new, it is $57,000. However, I bought it certified pre-owned with only 4,000 miles, pristine condition, and I only paid $46,000 for it. The dealership I bought it from was going out of business, so they're basically just giving away their cars. That all being said, other G70s around this mileage and condition at the time when I was looking 6 months ago were still listed for around $53,000 to $55,000. All right. So take into consideration that I paid $10,000 under fair market value for this vehicle 6 months ago. And then if I'm to try and sell my car, most places are telling me I can only sell it for around 38 to 40. That's almost a $10,000 loss just in the past 6 months, already having purchased this car $10,000 under the fair market value at the time. So if you buy this car brand new at $56,000, $57,000 in less than a year, you're going to be losing close to $20,000, $25,000 in depreciation. And I personally just do not think this car is worth nearly $60,000. If you factor in state taxes and all of that, which a lot of people don't consider when looking at cars, this vehicle basically comes out to $60,000, if not a little more, if you're in a state that has really high taxes. If you do some research, you can find used 2022 year models for around the low 40s price range. And I've even seen some around like $38,000, $39,000. So I think that is a really good and affordable price for this vehicle if you buy the fully loaded trim, considering the performance and all of the tech features, gadgets, and gizmos that is on this vehicle. So again, I urge you to consider not buying this car brand new if you are, and put in the time and research into finding a really nice used model and save yourself $20,000, $25,000. Now, another thing, and not so negative about this car, is the warranties that come with it. So if you get one that's still within warranty, you get a 10-year powertrain warranty and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper. The bumper-to-bumper covers everything from electrical in the car. For example, one of my brake lights and blinkers went out on my taillight assembly, and I took the car in, and they had to order me a completely new taillight assembly and installed in my car, all totally free, covered under the warranty. And then obviously the powertrain warranty, self-explanatory. So that is something definitely to consider when buying a Genesis. Is even though it might be a little more expensive, even at brand new, although I urge you to buy it used, you get an incredible warranty compared to a lot of the competition out there. Next thing I want to talk about is reliability and just some public perceptions of the G70. So since posting some content on the G70, I've gotten a lot of backlash, people saying like, this is just a crappy Hyundai, it's going to break down, people can break into it, yada, yada, yada. But if you look to the car reviews, Motor Trend, Car and Driver, some of the most well-known, respected car review companies out there, Car and Driver ranked this car above a lot of the other German competition. I think that the G70, I'll put it up on the screen, but was ranked like third or fourth for its class of sedans. A lot of people get hung up on looking at the brand and logo of the car. They look at a Genesis and they go, okay, it's the luxury brand of Hyundai. Hyundai's a crappy car company. They're garbage. So therefore, Genesis is a crappy car company and is garbage. Clearly, Car and Driver, when they review cars, they are not biased in that aspect, and they actually review the car for what it is. So I think that if you look to the actual, channels and companies that review cars and aren't biased based on the company logo, the G70 is an extraordinarily good car. So next, I wanted to talk about the performance aspect of this vehicle. All right, if you're looking for something that is going to give you a true sports car experience, I'm going to say the G70 is not the car for you, and that's something I missed out on a little bit when buying this car. So quick story, my dad growing up, he had a M2 35i, I think it was like a 2018 model. And this car had a Dynan exhaust on it, had a Dynan tune, Dynan cold air intake, all the Dynan mods. And this car, true sports car, this car was such a freaking blast to drive. The exhaust note on it, the engine note, that car was just absolutely heaven to drive. And what I really wanted with my next car, I think, was something that gave me that level of excitement when driving a vehicle and sitting behind the wheel. And this G70 is just a little bit too refined for my liking. All that to be said, if you're looking for something that's going to give you a true exhilarating sports car experience, I'm going to say look elsewhere. This G70 might not be the right fit for you. The best way to describe it is this G70, it's like 70% luxury and like 30% sports car. Now, the performance on this car is definitely not bad. I honestly think it's dangerously fast. Like, no one needs a car this fast. You know, if you're driving 40 miles an hour on the highway or a road and you put the pedal down, within 3 or 4 seconds, you're doing triple the speed limit and you're liable to get arrested. So performance on this car is definitely not bad. It pulls crazy hard from a standstill. It's got serious loads of torque, especially if you get the all-wheel drive model. But all that being said, this car definitely is fun to drive, and it does have nice, sporty, tight feeling steering. However, it's just not the same as a true sports car experience. I don't really know how to describe that to you guys. If you've ever been in a sports car and you just know how it feels, like I don't know how to explain it. So going off the sporty and performance drive aspect of this car, I wanted to talk about how it drives real quick. So it is a very smooth, very quiet. Let me emphasize that this is an extremely quiet ride. Like, it's not like dead silent. You still have a little bit of road noise, but compared to your average car, this G70 is extremely quiet in the cabin. Very minimal road noise. And if you turn off the fake engine noise that's pumped in under the sound settings, there is zero engine noise. There is an exhaust note that you can hear, but as far as like engine noise, you cannot hear it at all. It is totally silent. But yeah, talking to the drive experience, it drives very well. A lot of really great feedback in the steering wheel. It also has a very tight feeling steering wheel, which is something I personally like in my cars. The steering wheel is leather wrapped and it feels very nice in your hands. It goes over bumps very nicely. Some of the bumps that you hit in other cars, you honestly don't even feel in this car. Or if you do feel it, it's like you just ran over a squirrel, basically, type feeling. So the overall drive feel of this car, very luxury, very nice, very smooth, and very quiet. So now let's talk about the practicality of this car. And if you're someone who often has passengers in your car, especially in the back seats, do not buy this car. The back seats in this car, well, let me put it this way. There aren't back seats in the car, and there should not be 4 doors on this vehicle. I don't know why they attempted to put 4 doors on this car. They should have just made it a coupe or a coupe, however you want to say that. That's all about them. That's about all I'm going to say about the back seats. They're not there. Just pretend they're not there. I mean, they are physically there, but they might as well not be there. So moving on from that, I want to talk about cargo capacity. It does have a good sized trunk. However, the opening on the trunk is a little small. So although you might be able to fit a bigger object in the back of your car, it might not fit through the trunk opening. You can lay down the rear seats, which gives you good storage capacity. However, again, the trunk has a small opening, so that really limits what you can put in the back of this car. So everyday practicality, it's not a cargo hauler by any means, like my Scion TC was. That thing was a little guinea pig, but yeah, that's practicality. So now talking about the tech and features on this car. If you buy the fully loaded trim, the Sport Prestige trim, you get every single bell and whistle you could possibly ever want or imagine on a car. Just going to rattle some off. So you've got a heads-up display, you've got a heated steering wheel, you've got heated and ventilated seats, which are pretty sweet. You've got adaptive cruise control, which is pretty common on most cars, but you then have a self-driving mode called Highway Driving Assist. And on top of that, this car also does self-driving in traffic, which is probably one of the best things I have ever experienced in a car. In stop and go traffic, you can just literally sit there, take your hands off the wheel, take your hands off the pedals, and the car will just inch forward with traffic. Probably one of the greatest things ever invented. What else? This car has a wireless charging pad. You've also got what's called Genesis Connected Services, which is an app that you download to your phone, allows you to monitor your vehicle's health status. You can do remote start on your app with like climate settings, so you can like set your car to warm up in the winter or like cool down in the summer. Yada, yada, yada. Another bit of tech worth mentioning is when you go to put your blinkers on, you have cameras that pop up in your gauge cluster that show your blind spots and if there's someone beside you. One of my all-time favorite features on this car as well. But we're going to stop with the tech and features there because we could spend all day going over everything that's in this car. So let's move on to the next section. So another thing to consider when buying this car is the gas mileage and the fact that it takes premium fuel. So around town, my car tells me in eco mode that I average around 22 miles per gallon. On the highway in eco mode, it tells me that I average around 30 to 32 miles per gallon, which isn't that bad, especially if you're someone who does a lot of interstate driving. But if you're doing a lot of city driving, 22 miles per gallon might not be the best. It's not terrible, but it's not great. If you put this car into sport mode, it averages around like 15 to 16 miles per gallon. So obviously not great. And I do like to go on fun drives occasionally. And when I do that, I go through my tank of gas quite quickly. And so it can get expensive at times. So just another thing to consider, especially with the premium fuel being on the up and up these days. Now, I wanted to offer one final comment if you're someone who's considering purchasing this car, and that is quit looking at pictures of it, quit looking at videos of it, and go look at one in person, because cars look way different in person than they do in pictures and videos, sometimes for the worse and sometimes for the better. Personally, while I think this car still looks good in pictures and videos, it looks so much better in real life. It is such a sleek and unique looking car, and it is just, there's no way to describe it other than just sexy. And I argue that it is probably one of the best and most unique looking cars on the road. So if you're wanting a car that is going to stand out and be hands down one of the most unique looking designs on the road, this is probably going to be the car for you. But again, go look at one in person, because you're never actually going to know if you like it or not until you see it with your own two eyeballs. At the end of the day, what car you decide to buy is ultimately up to you, and it all comes down to personal tastes and preferences. While I might think this is one of the most sexy and unique looking cars on the road, someone else might think this is one of the most ugly and hideous cars that they've ever seen in their life, which is perfectly fine. It's all about what makes you as the driver and individual happy. It's not about pleasing others or trying to make others happy. It's your car. You're the one who sits in it every day. So you pick what car at the end of the day brings you the most joy and happiness. As always, thanks for watching the video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Subscribing is probably one of the best things you can do. Really appreciate you guys' support. If there was anything I did not cover in this video, or if you've got questions regarding this car as you're considering your purchase, I'm more than happy to help in the comments below. It's one of my favorite things about YouTube, is being able to help people and answer any questions they might have about whatever content it is I'm posting out there. So again, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I will see you guys later. Stay glossy.